The mountain that moved. An Eastern parable about persistence. The unmovable. Long ago, in the land of mist-covered valleys and whispering pines, there was a village named Kori, nestled at the base of a mountain called Shogun. Towering and vast, Shogun cast its shadow over the villagers from dawn to dusk. Its peak was lost in clouds, and its stone face was streaked with centuries of rain, moss, and silence. To the people of Kori, the mountain was sacred and terrifying, a symbol of fate itself. Children were told not to look at it too long, lest it plant questions in their hearts. No one climbed it, and no one challenged it. For as far as memory stretched, Shogun had simply been there. But in that quiet village lived a peculiar man named Old Joe, though he was not old when the story begins. Joe was a simple potter, shaping earth into cups and bowls, firing them in a kiln that he built with his own hands. He lived alone, with a cat that never caught mice, and a bamboo broom worn to its final straw. He was cheerful and patient, but also, some said, strange. For every morning, before the sun warmed the roofs of Kori, Joe would carry a wooden shovel to the foot of the great mountain, and there he would dig. Tintadistate, the fool of the valley. At first, no one paid him much mind. They thought he was looking for special clay, or perhaps searching for old stones. But day after day he returned, digging a small trench inch by inch at the edge of Shogun's base. Children gathered and laughed. "What are you doing, Joe-san?" He smiled. "I'm moving the mountain." Their laughter echoed through the valley. "With a shovel?" Joe nodded. "Yes, one day Shogun will not stand here." The elders shook their heads. "He is touched in the head. The mountain is eternal. Earth is stubborn. Winds bow to it and rivers curve around it. One life is not enough." But Joe said nothing. Each morning he rose with the birds. He shoveled until the sun crested the slope. And each evening he walked home with dust in his beard and peace in his eyes. Seasons turned out. Years passed. Children who once teased him grew tall and left to tend rice fields or weave silk. Some forgot about the man with the shovel. Others still passed him and muttered, "Foolish Joe." The path he dug became deeper. Rain filled it. He drained it. Stones broke his shovel. He carved another. Wind scattered the earth. He gathered it again. Still, every day. Dig. Pause. Breathe. Dig again. His hair turned silver. His hands became knots of effort. His cat grew old and died, and another took its place. But Joe dug on. One day, a traveling monk came through the valley and saw Joe at work. He watched for a long time before speaking. "Tell me, old one, what do you seek beneath this mountain?" Joe wiped his brow. "Nothing beneath. I am seeking beyond. I will move the mountain, grain by grain." The monk raised an eyebrow. "You cannot. Your life is a breath. Shogun is a giant." Joe smiled. "Then I will be a breath every day, until the wind has carved a path." The monk bowed. "Then you are not foolish. You are free." The first shift. One spring, after 36 years of digging, the villagers woke to a sound like thunder cracking in reverse. They rushed from their homes, thinking the mountain would fall. But what they saw was something else. A section of Shogun's face had crumbled. A crack had opened where Joe had been digging. A path not deep, but real. "An earthquake," someone said. "Coincidence," said another. But a child pointed at the groove in the earth. Years in the making. It began with him. Joe said nothing. He simply returned to digging the next morning. In the Garden of Time. When Joe was too old to lift a shovel, he still walked to the base of the mountain. There, his son, who once had called him mad, now dug in his place. and so did his son's son, and a girl from the village, and a silent man with a scar on his hand, and an orphan with nowhere else to go. Yo's persistence had become something else. A quiet fire passed from heart to heart. He sat on a stone, watching them work, and whispered to the wind, "You see, I was never alone." When Joe died, they placed his ashes in a clay jar and buried it beneath the mountain's base, in the trench he had carved with his life. The path appears. Generations passed, and the world changed. Cities rose and fell. Maps were drawn, then redrawn. But in the valley of Kori, the groove had become a pass. The pass became a path, then a trail, then a road through the hills. Travelers no longer had to climb or walk around the mountain. They simply walked through. Shogun had not vanished, but it had made way. And so, the people of the valley came to teach their children a new tale. Not of the unmovable mountain, but of the man who had moved it. Final words. The elders would gather in the evenings and say, "Persistence is not loud. It is not fast. It is a drop that hollows stone, a root that splits the rock, a breath that moves the stars, if only it returns again and again." And so it was that Joe, who began as the fool of the valley, became its wisest teacher, not by preaching, not by conquering, but by digging. One step, one breath, one day, forever.